My name is Megan Maddox. I'm the People and Culture Champion. Sit on the, we call it the SEC, the Some Executive Committee. But I also serve with John and our CFO. And I also serve as our HIPAA privacy officer. So that's why I am teaching this workshop, facilitating this workshop for you today. For my online virtual folks, we are building something awesome. So if you go in your app while you're streaming, scroll all the way down, and near my presentation you will see a sheet called HIPAA Compliance Worksheet, and those are your building materials. And Kayla, I feel like I'm talking, if you could type that in to the chat for folks who are virtual, I would really appreciate that too. So awesome, and everyone has a pen and your building materials. Good. With this workshop, I will start flipping through slides. I'm going to talk for about 7 to 10 minutes about annual compliance efforts. It's relatively basic, but which is good. It's always good to go back to the basics and make sure we're meeting that minimum. And then we're going to do an activity where you're going to think about your practice and what you're doing, and then get into pairs and compare and learn from each other, and then we'll come back to the big group. So, all right, let's go for it. All right, so objectives for today: understand HIPAA compliance basics, assess your current compliance practices, and then create an improvement plan, because there's always, as you'll hear me say multiple times, it is a journey, not a one and done. All right, why does compliance matter? Why does HIPAA matter? I mean, you all know it's been around since 1996. It has grown over time, and it really at its core, it's about protecting patient information, PHI. It's required by law. You all have to have a named privacy officer. Hello. And doing all this reduces the risk of breaches, really ultimately protecting your patients. So, yeah, super important to be thinking about it on a regular basis. All right, so since 1996, there have been several laws that build on top of the original privacy law: privacy, security, and then really with the advent of electronic health records, we had EPHI. We had these three aspects that came out: technical, physical, and administrative. So this is really it's kind of it encompasses everything up to that day. So for technical, we think about access control. Who in your office is accessing what, and should they be, right? Does everyone need every piece of information? You know, we have role-based things in the EHR, so there's that. People certainly need what they need, the access to get their jobs done, but maybe beyond that, they don't necessarily need everything. We also think about encryption, encrypting data whenever possible in transit, and then audit logs, which we have in there. If we think about physical security, like anytime I walk away from my workstation, I lock it. Also, super important to keep it up to date with security updates. And as you know, our systems team, things like when Windows 10 is going to be sunset, right? We learned that in What's New, What's Next. Super important to have that plan in place, to have all your machines and your offices updated so that you don't increase that risk. So locking workstations, let's see. And then controlling facility access. Even who comes in and out. Where can people access different parts of your office? I'm sure you don't let patients wander around, you know, or patients' parents wander around, things like that. We are so close to the kitchen. We have a little seltzer. You're not the first person that I saw happen to that. Sorry for the folks online. We have a little soda explosion, but everything is okay.
Go out here.
Yeah. How's?
That was the whole shower.
Yes. And is our computer okay? Okay. All right. Hopefully she's all right. Back to it. Administrative. Kind of what you're doing right now. You're in here. You're getting a CEU. You're getting trained so you can ensure your staff is trained properly. Document policies, all of that. So these are the three main buckets when it comes to HIPAA compliance. And while this is super high level, if you ever wanted more materials and to dive in, I have some links in here, and I'm always available too. And speaking of the tools that are available, this is the most thorough one that I've come across. Annually, ideally, right, there's ideal and there's real world, I recognize that. Ideally, you're doing a HIPAA risk assessment once a year and documenting it. This particular tool, and I have, once we get into building your work, if you want to see what this tool looks like, I have it open on a different computer. And for the folks at home, you can click on this link in the PDF, that's also on the app. This tool is created by it's a mouthful, Office of the ONC, the Coordinator for Health IT, which now has a new name, ASTP, so neither here nor there. That link takes you to a page where you can download it. It's an extensive Excel spreadsheet that has different tabs, and it covers those three main buckets. It's pretty thorough in the respect that it says, here's the requirement, here's the why and the how, and has a place for you to document it. So again, technical, physical, administrative, and even if you're a nerd like me around compliance, it even links to the actual statement in the Code of Federal Regulations that it coordinates with. Ultimately what this does, so let me ask, has anyone used this tool or paid someone to do an annual risk assessment? This tool or other one, or you paid someone to do it for you? Okay, great. So we pulled it out for PCC to use it, and we quickly realized that it is not geared towards a business associate, which we are. It is geared towards covered entities and practices. So would find it very useful for you. I will also warn you, it could be a little daunting, but you do it the first time and you create your roadmap, and then it gets easier every year because you're already writing things down of what you're doing. So yeah, it creates the compliance roadmap for you. If I was going to recommend, depending on risk, and again, I'm always happy to meet with you, if there's something major that is a gap, want to look at starting to prioritize and taking care of those things. Because when it comes to any kind of compliance, right, effort matters. Perfection is not possible, right? But I mean, maybe it's possible, but it's really about reducing risk and showing effort. All right, any questions on that before? No? Yes?
I've seen your title slide.
It's not advancing on there. I have a feeling that's why.
Are you guys, I'm just seeing the title slide all of a
I
sudden.
think that's just your stream.
Oh, just your stream as the,
Okey-doke.
perfect, all right. All right, this is another huge piece. So we've got the technical aspect, we have the laws from the government that we have to follow, of course, but it's really about how your staff handle it and leading by example. So I think I do HIPAA training for new PCCers typically within the first day or second day if I'm not there. And I probably no less than 5 times in the span of 30 minutes say I'd rather get 100 questions than have one bad thing happen. And I truly, truly mean that. Every time someone asks me a question, I profusely thank them. Yeah, hey Tom. So building that compliance culture, leading by example. If you're a leader, you're all leaders in your offices, you make a mistake, use it as a tool to teach people so that they're more apt to come to you and say, oh, I don't know if I did this right. Oh. So thanks staff. Encourage them to report security issues immediately. Things can be mitigated very quickly when it's better to have time to react quickly than let something fester. So again, that culture of please tell me, so that if, say, when we look at security breaches, still the most common thing is clicking on a link on an email. Even when I bank with Citizens Bank, it's a local bank, even when they send me something, I go to the source, to the app. I never click on anything. That's my other funny tagline is don't even trust your friends. We had, if you listened to my talk last year or my locals, what UVM, our local University of Vermont Medical Center, had a breach a few years ago. And it was this is all Googleable. A person was on vacation, opened their laptop that was connected to the UVM network, opened an email from their HOA, and then opened a PDF. So it was a trusted source, took down an entire hospital system. So yeah, so don't even trust your friends. I don't know if HOAs are everyone's friend, but you know. Okay, other things. So we talked about trading new hires immediately, and then also annually. We use, for anyone that was in a CHIPS class yesterday, we use a site called KnowBefore. It's KNOW. Happy to share it with you after the number 4 before. And it's lovely. It has quick, like we've played, they're like 5 to 7 minute lessons with little quizzes. We've played Security Jeopardy. I find that we get good feedback from staff because well, I'm sure you're all happy to be here listening to me. It's different than sitting and like playing a game and having security and stuff reinforced, and HIPAA stuff. The other thing that I can't stress enough, just like we would do for natural disasters, prepare emergency plans ahead of time. If something horrible does happen, you don't want to be guessing what to do next in that moment. Right, just that. Well, I guess my biggest thing is like blizzards, right? We get a lot of good snow up here. Maybe some of you live where there are hurricanes. I wouldn't wait till the next day to find my shovel. Rudimentary metaphor, but still, right? You want to know like if someone were to click on a malicious link and a bad actor, they should feel good about turning off their computer immediately, getting it to IT. Even something as simple as that will mitigate it getting into your network. All right, and then stay informed. Here's my plug. This is a place where we can make the internet work for you. So I subscribe to the Health and Human Services page, of course, and get their emails, and you can see all sorts of stuff about breaches. But also HIPAA Journal, and I'm happy to share these or pull it up. HIPAAjournal.com. I get an email a week, and it's various headlines, but I also see new regulations coming in like terms that I can read it and understand it, rather than going to the federal registrar and reading through a proposed rule and stuff. So it's very nice. Yeah, so stay informed. New stuff. All right, and I'll say it one more time here, right? We'd rather get 100 questions and be thankful for that than have one terrible thing happen. All right, so here's a short list of key documents to review annually, and then some of this mirrors in what we're going to work on building. So key documents to review annually. Think of this as in the development world, software development, we call it the minimum viable product. Here's your MVP. You want to always be looking at your HIPAA HIPAA policies and procedures, your risk management plans. So remember I mentioned like who has access to what? Do we have proper protocols in place to deactivate people when they leave, or if they change roles? Your privacy practices, and of course your notice of privacy practices to your patients, which I know I sign at right? They have to sign annually, so I'm sure you have protocols for that. Training logs. So this is the one, PCC, we pride ourselves on not having a lot of rules, and I love that about our culture, but this is one place that I thoroughly document who has training and when. Because again, tying back to that effort. If something, I feel like I'm being a negative Nancy, but that's what this is about, is risk mitigation. If, gosh forbid, something bad was to happen, effort counts a lot. So having training logs, knowing that everyone was given proper knowledge about it, is a show of good faith. All right, of course, your business associate agreements with your vendors, your cleaning staff, all sorts of, anyone that might come in contact with protected health information. And your breach response plan. Breach response, disaster response. I mean, you kind of think of it as, I will get to you in 1 second, just like that weather emergency that might happen. Am I on the camera? I'm moving a lot. Oh, okay, good. You also wrote one for this. Yes, question? Oh, you don't have to have them signed annually. Oh, question was, when I talked about BAAs, do you have to have them re-signed annually? Most that I sign do not. It's a, the good faith agreement until our relationship ends. So it's not that. I think it's more of a, what I would recommend is, do we have all the ones in place that we need? Did we swap out the cleaning crew and forgot? Do we have a new, maybe I'm dating myself, when I worked in a practice, new transcriptionist? Do you all still use transcription? Yeah, okay, sorry. I don't know. It was a long time ago. That was like 20 years ago. Things like that. Do we need any new ones? Did we forget any? And making sure you have them in a safe place. Yes? They may, we recommend it because they may see them sitting out and around and they are cleaning your office. It's a recommendation. It's like there's no perfection. We have one, as an example at PCC, we have one with ours. And the way I think about a BAA is, it's the, hey, we're all going to be good actors and good humans out here. And it shows an understanding that that they may come across sensitive information. So I'm sorry, where I was going with that point is I'd rather have one and not need it than like, oh, yeah.
So how does that differ from a drug rep coming in and papers are floating around?
Good question. Question was about drug reps. Thank you. I'm getting my. So question was about, did I say around the cleaning folks? They probably, okay. Question was around when drug reps visit your offices, do they need them? Not necessarily. They are in there, they're in and out, and you should have a log at your front desk for visitors. Obviously not all your patient population, but a visitor log would be ideal. Yep. Other questions on that? All right. Love this. All right, so I think I started the whole talk with this. It is a journey, not even a marathon. It's a forever. It is a forever and ever. So if you get your protocols in place, you get and keep doing them. It's really this. Maybe I should have put this in a circle. It's an assess, plan, train, monitor, repeat, and then it'll happen in little circles when a new person starts, and it will happen in big circles around the year. I picked. We do our annual training in September because it helps me remember it's like back to school month, at least in Vermont. Well, we go to back in August. I know it varies where you are, but that's my little trick in my own brain. I'm like, back to school, need to do annual HIPAA training. So yeah. More questions, any other questions or comments before we start building something awesome and working? And how am I, I'm doing great. No? All right. So I'm gonna go through the instructions, and then we'll go back to the beginning. You all have your building materials. I'm obviously loving saying that. So you will see there are four different prompts here. This is not a test to complete as fast as you can. Rather, take the time to dig into one that you're like, ooh, I should really look at that. And really think about it, because this is going home with you. You can get copies on the app. I will send you more copies. So I encourage you to choose one that sticks out to you the most, maybe two, and think about your current practice. What are you doing now? And then how would you like to build it and make it more awesome? So we'll do that for about 10-ish minutes. I mean, I'll keep an eye. If everyone seems done, we'll adjust the time. About 10 minutes alone. And then after that, I'm going to have you get into pairs and share your building together and spark ideas and learn from each other. And then we'll come back. I don't need to keep flipping. Then after that, we'll come back to the large group and share, because there's nothing better than sharing ideas, because you all do very similar things. So questions on, I was going to say the assignment. I'm really living my college professor gene. Questions on the assignment or building? Nope. All right. Have at it. And I'll walk around, and if any, please feel free to come up. I'll pull up the security risk assessment and some other websites up here too. Cool. All right. We had one question. I'm going to answer that for everyone. And then we'll get into, I love that some of you have been chatting. We'll get into pairs. And for those of you online, please use the chat feature and start sharing with each other. So we had a question about, I'm a mom. Well, I'm a mom too. But I'm a mom at the practice. And my kiddos go there. How do we ensure, can we block charts? Or have the ability to say this user cannot see certain charts. We used to have that happen at my old job for like celebrities. That'll happen. We were in big systems, right? Like they would have this, you had to have super special secure, or celebrities or like, or politicians, whatever. Sorry, I won't go down that tangent. The answer is no, we don't have that, but the audit logs is your place to go. And then making that part of your plan. We run audit, and so everyone knows, we run an audit log every month. And it's not that you don't trust, it's also part of that good faith effort of we're just doing the right thing for the patient data. All right, so back to instructions. Let me flip. We've done phase 1, so phase 2. Turn to your neighbor or neighbors. Share what you've learned. I love that some of you are already doing it. Shout out to the crew in the back in the circle. And online, please share in the chat. Or if any of you know each other, start texting each other. So yeah, all right. We'll do that for a few minutes and then we'll come back and chat in the larger group. Hi everyone. Can I bring you back into the large group? I love all the chat. I'm like trying to think of like Quiet Coyote or what are the other ones? Yesterday in our team meeting, someone did the clapping. Oh my gosh, it works. I love it. Okay, thank you. And I love that I had to say that a few times. It like warms my heart that you all are chit-chatting. All right, so I'd love to hear from you, but before that, we could do some raised hands or in the chat. I would really appreciate it if you gave, I don't know, a fun emoji or some indication. I'd like to get a gauge for which question you were drawn to the most, because that'll help me say, what do you want to learn more about next year? What could we write a blog on this year? So if we look at the first annual HIPAA risk assessment, how many people were drawn to that one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the back, 12. All right. Oh, I love it. Okay. Sound like an auctioneer. All right. Internal issue reporting and building that, like the culture. Who was drawn to that one? 2. All right. Oh, geez. 3? Excellent. How about monitoring for compliance updates? Who just wants to read about it on a weekly basis? I love it. I said 3, 4, 5. Great. And training. Tips and tricks on training staff. Oh, I don't even know if I need to count. I'm just going to put most. All right. Excellent. Love it. Because we have that. We have the pcclearn.com HIPAA page, but maybe that's something that could be spruced up with more like, what is appealing to your staff? What can we provide you with to make your lives easier? All right. So, last phase. Thank you for that. That was a credit to Lauren for that one. I love it. So any volunteers, what were your initial reactions and what did you all learn from each other? Did you share tips and tricks?
I have a microphone.
Oh, yes. Ooh, sorry, Tegan. I'm going to stay back here. Yeah. Love it.
I learned I'm very behind.
All right. But thank you for saying that. And thank you.
Yeah. It's been a while. Haven't updated. Haven't been getting people signing that they're doing annual. And
Yeah.
it's like, this isn't pretty. I should have come to this file.
No, it's good that you came to this class. It's good, and it's an interesting thing, right? Because HIPAA's been around since '96, but it's still yes, it's still there, and we still have to do stuff. So thank you for saying that, because I'm sure you're not the only one that's been thinking that, right? All right, someone else.
I realize we don't have a formal training.
Don't have a formal training for HIPAA. Oh, that's something I could help with. I'd even share the one that I do for PCC, and share the and share the book. I think I will have all of the attendees and all of your names. Okay, share. I bought it was relatively small, which is fine too, but thorough book that I just followed and made an outline, and then it took me places. Yeah, so love that. I feel like I need to write that down, Tegan. I'm going down to the shop for 1 second. Okay, all right, yes.
I'm interested in those websites that you mentioned that have that, like you called it HIPAA journal?
Yes.
The one that kind of breaks it down simply, because so many of the government ones, you get flooded and you get lost in it.
Flooded, yes. HIPAAjournal.com. Lovely. I signed up for their listserv. The Department of Health and Human Services, I don't even know. I think I'm channeling what you're saying, because sometimes those are so overwhelming, and it's more of like, this person had to pay a civil monetary penalty for it, and in my mind it's just like, oh my gosh, it is 1.5 million per infraction, yada yada, per year. But yes, that is consumable. So HIPAAjournal.com. Yeah. What else? Yes. Oh, sorry, wait for the mic.
In our practice, every year we have the parents sign off our financial policy and HIPAA. Does anyone else do the same in their practice?
Yeah, so I saw one hand raised, but HIPAA, it was, you said financial policy and HIPAA. And notice, yeah?
So have the parents sign it annually?
Yeah, have the parents sign it annually. I feel like just from being, a parent and a patient, I think I do it in my practice too. Yeah, yes. So good, yeah, that's a great, yes. And set up a reminder, yeah. Other questions or things you learned? Up all the way on the other side, Lauren, thank you. Oh, it's for the people on the internet. Oh, it's like point to the internet.
Are they doing it by paper every year? That's the question.
No,
Not by paper.
I'm just gonna fill in for the folks online. For financial policy and HIPAA policy, doing it on a form is best.
That's just the agreement page, because, nobody really wants the 9-page document I have. But every now and then, one of my lawyers that comes in will say, you want me to sign this, but you didn't give it to me. I gave up and put all 9 pages on the portal with the signature, and that way, I don't care if you read it or not, I care that you sign it. Because it's like the financial policy. My annual forms are all on the portal, and everybody has to do that at their well exam once a year, is click and sign all those forms after I've had the initial year with their actual signature on it.
Oh, questions from the, all right. One more up there, and then I'm gonna go to the stream with a few. Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes.
So we have PCC.
Electronic signature, it just
Oh.
says that to the portal. Yeah.
Oh.
And it tells me which parent logged in, date and time.
Where do I need to go?
signed the
There.
document.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm going to forms next.
Oh, I'm like, I have it on one machine.
And then I've got a whole separate one for 18 plus to give permission to the parents. You just send me the document. We have one other time before you stop.
Yes, awesome.
It's easier because then I can just file it right into my consent documents and have it done that way. I'm lazy. We've gotten rid of almost all paper in the office.
Ah. Yes.
So every year, at the beginning of the year, when patients have their first appointment, PCC has the forms they print out, and then we give the forms to the family to sign. but we still use encounter forms too, so they spit out with the encounter form.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that.
I was gonna say, we do
Oh.
ours with the well exam each year.
With the- oh.
annual well. Because first of the year, I mean, that's, for some of my patients, that's everybody all year round gets that form because it depends on when they come in for the first time. So we switched it because we used to do first of the year and it's at the annual well exam. Because that is required to stay active in the practice, is that they have a well exam at least every 15 months.
Yes.
They are marked inactive. Yes,
Ah.
until they have a well exam, they can't be seen for anything.
That is wonderful. I'm gonna repeat the TLDR, and then so having folks patients sign the notice of privacy practices or other documents at their well visit.
Yes.
And that's kind of like my back to school
Yes.
thing, right? That's if you just have it happen, it's a part of the visit. I'm going to read a question from the chat so you all can hear it. When a patient over the age of 18 signs a consent form allowing their patients access to their medical records, parents, thank you, where they become a proxy, it is essential to ensure that consent is given freely and without pressure. However, there are instances where it appears that patients may feel obligated or coerced into signing these forms, often due to parental expectations or pressure, particularly question when the parents have a personal relationship with a provider. What can be done to address this issue? It is my understanding that all HIPAA breaks, knowing them or unknowing what is happening, are penalized. So around this, each state, right, HIPAA is federal, and then all of your states have, some are the same, have different emancipation ages. So in Vermont, I'll speak about my kid knows that it's in our annual HIPAA training. They know that I talk about this. So in Vermont, the age is 12. So at 12 years old, I had to explain to, Ted is my older one, I had to explain to Ted, like, hey Ted, I need to become your proxy. And I tried to explain it in terms that he would understand. I mean, I'm talking to pediatricians, so you get that. And then I think I guess this isn't really answering their question. So I am their proxy. And I guess me as a parent, talking about me personally, as they get older, I will not ask, right? At some point, I will fully give it. That's a tough one. I would say the other thing, and my provider gave this, is can you be alone with the patient? Because part of the reason for those younger emancipation ages, as you all know, is to keep them safe. I've had people go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, but what if that kiddo needs you? Preaching to the choir here. So maybe get them alone and ask and make sure that they're not being coerced. Because for me at 12, with both my kids, I tried to explain it, even being a privacy officer, and it was kind of like, what, Mom? You know? So, yeah. It's hard, and consent in children are hard. That's a core part of this business. This business, of what you all do in the world. I had one up there. Sorry, got to make you ready to get your steps in? And then I do have, what do you do if you have a patient with a disability and they turn 18? You can have a proxy. You can have a proxy at any age. I'm not as familiar. I think I would say more details around that would be necessary. Sorry, that was that question. I'm just going to go through the chat and then go back to the room, and then we're almost done. Oh, I would love for you to answer that, please. Thank you. We have someone in the room who has a child who is over 18 with disability who is going to help with your question.
Okay, now I'm
Thank
from
you.
Georgia, and my child has Down syndrome and autism. So what we had to do was become her guardian at 18 in order to make any decision for her. If your child has a disability and they can speak for themselves, then you can do a power of attorney where you allow that, but you're also there for other. But if your child is not able to make that decision, you have to be the guardian. If you don't get guardianship, it is your child's decision, disability or not.
Yes, and I think without knowing it, you just answered the other question in here that was scanned around, is it legal to speak with a patient's parents if the patient is over 18 years old without the patient knowing? And that's what, thank you.
You have to have the patient permission
Yes.
at 18 to speak with their parents, even if it's just to remind them it's an appointment. You have to have that patient permission.
Yes, have to have, yeah, the bottom line here is have to have, even if you are not their guardian, I'm following the chat, guardian or not, must have that patient's permission to speak, even if it's so at that point you're adult to adult.
Now, the guardian has the
oh.
full right to answer.
It says not a guardian.
Not a guardian does not.
Right, okay.
Can I
Thank
ask-
you. I love this. I love this crowdsourcing. This is good teamwork. Okay, yes.
Okay, you've got parents, divorced parents. Bio dad gives consent for stepmom to be able to be at the appointments and access medical records. Bio mom says, I don't want stepmom to have access. It's divorced and they're 50-50.
Divorce 50-50. I would
In New
seek legal
Jersey,
counsel.
you only need consent
right?
from one person. So I don't know how.
Oh, I feel like I need your mom. Yes, yeah. Oh, I have it. Yes, I have Tegan up here who's, I would go to his mom for this question. Sorry, Tegan, I don't mean to interrupt you. Your mom's the best. Very state by state. And so yeah, and I would, yeah, go to. Were you going to add something else to that? I'll repeat it.
I was going to say, in our state, a step-parent has the rights of the birth natural parents. You can't restrict them without a court order. So.
Gotcha.
You
Oh,
don't even
okay.
have to have dad's permission for stepmom to have access. If they're married, she has access.
Ah.
The only reason she doesn't is with a court document stating she cannot have legal access.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, she's a legal parent, just like she gave birth.
I would.
And that's in Oklahoma.
All right, Oklahoma, you step parents have direct access. All right, we are like 2 minutes over time. Great job, class. Please take back something to build. And Megan Maddox, Maddox at pcc.com, and I will find a way to get you those materials, whether we update, learn, or write a blog. I'm winking at Allie, who writes the blogs. So thank you.